your equestrianship comes into play because you got to work that horse and make it move. So she would jump in over fences and so pretty awesome. Yeah, we've had a trainer for her since she was it's only 4 years, but built it. She was actually Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio. She beat them all to go to nationals. This is Massachusetts, so yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Excuse me. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you. That's awesome.
Me and Tommy over there. Cool.
Yeah, this is good, huh? Holy smokes.
Spoiling us.
Yes. This is wonderful.
I love it.
Holy smokes. Oh. So, yeah. We have people here? This is great. I don't know. It's good.
Are you going to send me the picture of Gwen?
Yeah, they have a professional photographer there. So when we get a professional photographer, that'd be great if we could, I'm going to get Dave.
Set up the write up and everything would be nice.
I'd like to see if maybe KBN or something. You know what I mean? And that would be great. So we leave May the 15th, which is a Thursday. And she shows on Friday.
Vacation request.
Huh? Yeah. You hear that, Lance? Turn in a vacation request for Quinn. We're going to nationals with her horse. National championship.
Where is it?
Massachusetts.
I would think like Nashville. I don't know.
Yeah. She won the 3-state championship for Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio. So now we go to nationals and she competes against all the kids in the nation.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So one in May. We're excited.
Although we'd love to see her once in a while on the weekend.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one.
Kelly, that's good timing.
I know.
Holy smokes, Kelly. We've been waiting on you.
1 minute.
Oh, gosh.
But I went home. 4 minutes to change.
One.
Literally. Thank God for Kelly here.
Good smoothies.
I got home 10 minutes ago.
He's going to do that.
This is yours.
Okay.
Remember?
Yes. I'll give it to you.
I'll give you the thing.
Stand for the pledge, please.
To the flag of the United States of America Here.
Clark.
Here.
Hudson. Ronco.
Here.
Whitmer.
Here.
Item number 3. Make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion.
Discussion.
Roll call, please.
Ronco.
Yes.
Karen.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Whitmer.
Yes.
Item 4, superintendent, or motion passed. Item 4, superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you. We're going to start off with the Student Social Studies Renaissance presentation. I'm going to open it up to Jason Martin. He's got some technology going.
I would actually like to, I invited Mrs. Brandy Brown to come in and just tell us a little bit about what she had going on, because she invited me to her classroom. There were some amazing things going on as far as projects. I asked her if she would come in and share some of these three-dimensional models and so forth, and then I'll give a little bit more of a report after she gives hers. So I'll turn it over to Mrs. Brown.
Thank you for having me. My classroom is a lot of fun to teach with my 7th and 8th graders, and one of the favorite things that my students like to do is the projects, and they get a tic-tac-toe board of about 9 different options to choose from, whether they're creating a 3-day model, creating a song, doing a journal entry, and so they get to choose a project on what we're studying. And in 7th grade, they were studying the Renaissance and the Reformation, and they got to make these really good models. And I brought one of my students, and he was willing to come. This is Richard Ulam, and he actually made a couple of projects out here, and he would love to present his findings. And he was able to work with a group, and he made Leonardo da Vinci's invention. So why don't you tell the board about these?
I made 3 of his most famous flying machine inventions that he created. This is his orthoraptor. It's basically a hang glider that you flap with your arms. This is his aerial screw. It's an early version of the helicopter. And this is the early version of the parachute that he made.
Really?
Yeah, you might want to show it to them. And they had about 3 days to do this.
I used a lot of balsa wood and a little bit of cloth.
Other students built models that were slightly different. One set, they couldn't be here today, but they built in Florence. This is the Duomo, and they actually have a bell that works in here, and they actually rigged it with lights on the inside, which is pretty neat. I'll set this up here for you guys to see. This was done by 2 ladies, Tessa Liggett and Allison Kyle. So that one was really neat. I have a couple of others. Down in the back, I have a tank. And this one will actually shoot marshmallows across the room at high velocity. They will shoot it at 45 psi, and they'll pump it up with a bike pump. And it actually is built to scale model to Leonardo da Vinci's tank, which was really neat. I actually had 2 tanks that were built to fire. It does move, so it rolls like it was supposed to.
Really?
2 of my artistic students were able to create the Mona Lisa, which is kind of cool. We have a complete guest board with all of the Renaissance people and figurines, and they created biographies about each of the individual people. It does play. They played it in class. And I also have a really neat journal from Leonardo da Vinci, and they wrote all about his excerpts. They include drawings about like the Vitruvian Man and so forth. And last but not least, we have a song that my 7th graders were able to play, which was really quite unique.
I wasn't sure, I just have a few quick picture slides. I wasn't sure how many of these Mrs. Brown would be able to bring with her because some of the students had taken them home and so forth. So I did have a few pictures, and these are all here. And it's a little hard to hear the lyrics, that's why I passed around the lyric sheets. It's 3.5 minutes long, but I think it's well worth it. If for nothing else, it will give you a really good lesson on this. One moment.
Never fails, right, Jason?
I know. Yeah. We'll try this one more time, if not, we'll just play it.
You can just sing
Brandy?
Thank you. I believe that's the students.
I'm really sorry, this is going to be hard to hear.
be able to do this many different things in just a couple of days when they put their minds to it.
That's incredible. I mean, I could never, all those cup things and everything, and Mrs. Brown, that's a direct credit as to your teaching and the things that you've taught those students, and that just goes to show what our Columbiana schools does as far as for our students and things like that. And I think it's commendable. I think it's awesome that students do it, are involved in that. I think it's wonderful. Thank you so very much. That's awesome.
You make learning fun.
Yes, that's awesome.
Bad day.
Bad day in tech.
We're getting it.
As I had mentioned, Mrs. Brown and her 7th grade world history students invited me in to observe all these amazing things that she had going on. One can easily witness Mrs. Brown's love for her students and passion for the content. That passion is contagious and easily observed through her students. I was immediately amazed to see so many creative projects and to see every single student in her class motivated and eager to share their newly found knowledge of the Renaissance period and share their creations. When entering the classroom, students are quickly greeted and provided clear expectations regarding the class period and reminded of the criterion within the rubric. During my visit, I got to see all of these amazing things, and I won't go through that paragraph because you've already had an opportunity to experience them. But the list of amazing projects goes on and on. These aren't all of them. She had multiple classes and so forth. And I know I didn't even get to see all of them, but I was even more amazed. I don't know if Randy mentioned this, but students only had 3 days to complete these projects. Okay, 3 days to complete these projects. Class ended with Mrs. Brown's words of pride, encouragements, and directions to have a nice day and make smart choices. Brandy, thank you for all you do for our students in our district. You truly are an exemplary teacher who is most clearly deserving of our prestigious Key Clipper Award. We appreciate your hard work and dedication to your students' education and to bringing history to life within your classroom. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, Jason, for nominating Brandy for Key Clipper Award. It's nice when we can bring in things that our kids are doing and recognize our staff and our students, and this was a great opportunity to do so. And Richard Ulam, thank you, buddy, for coming in. The stuff that you did was incredible. A lot of work went into that. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Good job, buddy.
Since we don't have a PowerPoint now,
Because our tech guy broke it.
What's up with this tech?
Pages power. March 25th, we had a low-level lockdown. And, you know, many of you saw in the paper some of the write-ups, at least what was written about what had happened and what had gone on. I just wanted to emphasize some of the things that we do from a security standpoint and reiterate what took place and the safety and the security of our schools, which I believe is a very safe place to be. On the 25th, Mr. Hostetler came to my office and indicated that we were on a lockdown. Is this a lockdown drill? What's going on? He says, well, potentially there might be somebody in the building, potentially that we aren't sure whether he's still here or not. So at that point, the Columbiana PD was already there, working with administration. From 2 standpoints. One, from a standpoint of verifying and clearing the facility, and 2, reviewing videotape with the tech department and Jason Martin to verify entrances, who was coming in, where they were coming from, where they went in, etc. Essentially, came down to this. We had an elderly gentleman that came to our front entrance, attempted to come in the building, found that he needed to buzz himself in, and buzzed into the main office, in which he indicated that he had a need to use the restroom. He came into our office and was told to go down the hallway to use the restroom, which he did. Unfortunately, he went, instead of our teachers area, or our teachers lounge, he went into the student restroom, and the stalls were occupied by students. We found through our meeting with students and conversations with the two students that were in the restroom at the time that the gentleman had an emergency. He asked for them to please hurry up, that he had an emergency, and he patiently waited. Unfortunately, the students did not hurry up, and essentially he was forced to use one of the waste cans in the bathroom. We did not know that at the time, how that played out or what went on. But later on, we were able to sit down and piece through the facts of what happened and how it happened. Students questioned him. The two students that were in there, what he was doing. And he said he had an emergency, and indicated to them someday they will be old and they'll understand. And after that, I think our video shows him exiting the restroom, exiting the commons, and headed out through the front doors. I don't think it was anything more or anything less, which really prompts us to take a look at what we do procedurally and what can we do to be better. Some of the things that we had talked about with the staff from a lockdown perspective worked very well. Low-level lockdown for us means education continues, classes continue, teaching continues, students stay in classrooms, and we lock down the classrooms. We clear the facility for whatever it might be, whether it's an animal, whether it's someone who's unauthorized to be there. It took time to verify on the video that the individual did indeed leave the facility. During that time, Wade Boley, who's our DARE officer, was in our commons throughout the whole process with our principals. We didn't believe, from a standpoint, that there was a threat. We felt like at that point we had an elderly gentleman who had to use the restroom. That was what we felt like through the whole process. I know our secretarial staff, it happened during a time in which we have transition with our Career Center kids coming in, and they believed it was one of our sub-bus drivers that came in. Turned out to not be that. We had no clear identification of the individual to verify who he was, and we worked with the Columbiana Police Department during that process. However, I think it was stringent upon our administration to meet with our secretarial staff and verify how we enter into our facility. Schools were never made to be fortresses. They were never made to be lockdown facilities. In 1999, on April 20th, when Columbine happened, everybody in the nation buckled down their schools, and we continue to learn every day from what happens, what goes on. We learn from other people, what they go through. We learn from Chardon, we learn from Sandy Hook, and we try to implement those things. When this facility was built, they were in this facility in 2000. This facility was already constructed before they would have ever thought that the office needed to be at an entrance. The office is in a vicinity of an entrance, so we have camera systems. And those camera systems bounce back and forth from two entrances. One is the student entrance. We have student drivers. The other is the main entrance, which we hope that our parents and our grandparents and those that come in and out of our facility would use that. We have visitors every single day at the school. From the mail lady, to UPS, to plumbers, to roofers, to construction folks. They're coming in to fix and make repairs. We have them every single day come to our facilities. We have vendors come to our facilities. We have people who unload groceries, food supplies for our cafeterias every single day. If somebody wants to get in our facility, they can, and they will. If somebody wants to. They're not generally going to come into the front door and ask permission to use a restroom like this incident happened. Still, we reflect on it, we tighten down the things that we do, and we try to move forward and make things better for safety and security of our students. Some of the things that we're looking at are increased cameras. I asked Mr. Martin to get some costs on it. Currently, the elementary building, the camera is not in a great visible spot. It's in the front entrance, but it's far enough away that we can't quite make out exactly who it is, so they have to identify themselves, and if we don't know, the secretary comes to the door and escorts them to the office, which is in the center of the building. That's the way that facility was designed back in the 50s. We believe if we put some better cameras at our entrances, at the places that we expect people to come in and out of, that will help us identify exactly who they are, and understand who's coming in and out. Again, we have parents, grandparents, brothers of kids, uncles, dropping off lunches every day. I probably can't imagine how many times our secretaries buzz people into our facilities. It's part of the process of how we do business. If we want to do a better job, we're going to have to get better cameras. That equipment cost is going to be about $9,000 from the fact that we need DVRs, solutions for those, to the point at which we can record what goes on. Increased cameras are not going to stop individuals from entering into school buildings anywhere in this nation. Every school building across the nation has ground level windows. If somebody wants in, they're going to get in. We understand that, but people that abide by the way we want to do things, we can identify what goes on, we can hopefully correct things with increased cameras. People knowing and seeing cameras and knowing they're on will be a deterrent from coming to the facility to do the things that they shouldn't be doing. When I came here, we probably have doubled or tripled, maybe even, there might be 10 times the amount of cameras since I came here 5 years ago than what was currently here. And I think when I came here, we had one at each main entrance. And that means 4 total in the district. I don't know, Jason, how many do we have now?
Roughly
15? We're proposing that we spend some money to upgrade the entrance cameras, relocate some of the other cameras, run wires, create some infrastructure so that every one of our entrances have the appropriate cameras on them for people going in and out. That will help us identify who comes in and out, identify where traffic's coming in and out, eliminate vandalism, hopefully. That's one of the things that we want to do. Since fall of 2013, we entered into a grant through the Attorney General's office for Marks radios with the Sheriff Department. The Marks radios are the premier radio system in the state of Ohio. Currently, the Columbiana Police Department does not have those. I met with Chief Gladys. They're hoping at some point to move to that, so to invest to a different system that's current with theirs at this time is probably not the right direction to go because we'd have to purchase those systems over. So in relationship with Sheriff Stone and Chief Gladys, they are able to communicate from point A to point B pretty easily, far so better than we can currently with any of our police departments. They're scheduled to have 3 radios, 1 in each facility. We're working with Officer Bowley on a number of fronts. We currently have a repeater scenario happening where their current radios can be used appropriately and effectively from this site. That being said, their signal is weak. So we are in the process of working with them to put, it's not really a tower, but it's a radio here that will allow us to strengthen the signal out in this part of the town. Additionally, we're working with him through the city and Heartland Christian School to have him trained to be a trainer of ALICE training. This past school year, we had a ALICE training for our entire staff. Officer Bowley, the Columbiana Police Department, Sheriff Department, and Waterford Chief were all involved in helping train our staff in lockdown procedures through ALICE. Those are some of the things that we've implemented or have had in place prior to even March 25th. Right now, March 25th has really increased our awareness of some of the other things that we should be doing. We do know from being in schools that perpetrators of school shootings are 98% between the ages of 11 and 25 years of age. We do realize that in school shootings, generally, it's your own students that we have to be concerned with. That has been something that's happened over and over and over again through school violence. So we understand that. We don't profile, but we do have a clear understanding from an administrative standpoint, from a staff standpoint, of what to look for and when to look for it. I had a conversation with Mr. Roncone not too long ago that in 1999, secretaries changed from the secretary that handles paperwork and greets you at the door to our first point of contact. And it's unfortunate, but in many cases, they are responsible for anyone entering and exiting the facility. No increased pay. We didn't give them any more money to do those added things. We didn't give staff members or administrators more money because we have to train for ALICE and those types of things to keep our kids safe. I can guarantee you that the administrators, as we walk the hallways, we're the first people that could be in any issues that go on when we're in a lockdown. Because we're not locked down. And, you know, the board will have some things to think about in the upcoming months. And what direction do we want to go and how do we want to do it? What other things can we do? A resource officer wouldn't change the situation. We had Officer Bull. He didn't see him as a threat. Neither did anybody else that saw the gentleman walking into our facility. I think that needed to be said. Unfortunately, the papers aren't here, but the video is. And it certainly lays out to some of those folks that didn't understand what went on that day. So, that being said, I'm open for questions from board members, what your thoughts are from my end, what needs to happen, where we go from here.
I guess a quick question. You mentioned the elderly gentleman.
Yes.
Ballpark age, you know?
At the age of my father-in-law, maybe 65, 70. We didn't have a face shop, but you can tell by gray hair, how they walk, how they carry themselves. Flash in the pan, kind of far away vision of.
So like grandpa profile.
Absolutely. Could have been. I mean, first thing that we checked, once we saw that it was an elderly gentleman from the video, was did somebody get picked up, dropped off? Did someone bring in a lunch? You know, those were the questions that we're asking to try to identify who came in. We could not because it was not any of those. That was the first thing that we tried to look at.
Well, the security of our students is of the utmost importance, and this is my belief. Things that I think of when we make decisions and things as a board member has to do with students, period. That's it. It's about education, it's about the security of the students and the education they develop and get while they're within our premises and at Columbiana. So, with that in mind, the security of which, at that point in time, we talked about, had failed at that point in time because of the fact that those policies weren't followed. Although, moving forward, in my opinion, we need to make sure, and I don't know if it's under our policies or whatever it is, that when that person comes to that door, and we talked about this, that, listen, I'm sorry if it's your grandparents, I'm sorry if it's whomever, but they don't come into our building unless we can verify who they are. And if we can't verify that that individual is there for a purpose, and that person belongs there, then we call the police. That's it. And the police respond. Let them handle it. That's their job. That's their job. Person has a hood on, whatever it is. And that's it. Although, unfortunately, these people that make these Rennis type things and come into schools and stabbings and shootings and things like that, they get in no matter what because they blow the doors out, come in with guns or whatever they do. But I agree that we need to discuss these things to make sure that everything we do is so secure that we've covered the bases to make sure these students are safe and they feel safe, and the teachers and the employees feel safe within the compounds of the school, in my opinion.
Well, I can tell you from my own perspective, I have 2 children. Both of them are in this building. They're both female, and not at any time during the whole process did I feel like this was a violent situation.
Yeah,
So,
I know it was.
you know, from that standpoint, we're not all above because we're here in Columbiana that this can't happen in our district. It's just, this is a pretty safe community overall. And I feel every day that my kids come to school in this facility and are safe from violence. You know, I've been administrator now for almost, 15 years. 5 years I've been here, I can count on one hand the actual number of fist fights that have taken place in Columbiana schools. That speaks volumes to what happens here on a daily basis. With our kids, you know, are you going to eradicate bullying? You're not going to eradicate bullying. We can continue to teach tolerance, teach respect, teach character. You know, those are the things that we hope will eliminate someone from having crazy thoughts. But we work with our kids, and I think for the most part, an element of respect and rapport throughout the facility, from pre-K all the way up through 12, coming from our staff, coming from our administration, and then also from our students and parents. We have good parents in this district, and that's part of the positive piece of this whole thing. But at the end of the day, I've not seen anything that would indicate violence taking place in our facilities on a daily basis. Some of these other places, I just was reading in the journal the other day, look at the juvenile reports, where kids are coming from, where they're in school, what the issues that they're dealing with and what's going on. I still feel this is a very, very safe school district. Can we do things better? Sure. Can we put metal detectors in? Sure, we can. There's cost to all those things. There's cost to manning them. You know, and we can continue to talk about these solutions, but I think a lot of it is just making sure practices meet the policies and make sure that, you know, we continue to be a friendly place. I don't see us refusing an elderly person to come into our facility that wants to use the facility or meet with or talk to somebody. We still have to be a school district. And I think being a school district has to have an element of being a friendly place to be. We put our secretaries, unfortunately, in a position of scrutinizing every single person that walks through our door and being rude about how we go about what we do, and many times with our own parents. That's a concern that you have a double-edged sword on that. What do you do? You know, and I've had these conversations quite a bit more since the 25th with other superintendents, with other faculty, with our administration. You know, I think that this incident gets blown way out of proportion with the media. Right, wrong, or indifferent. But at the end of the day, you know, we revisit it if we have somebody that wants to use our facility, they'll come into the office, use the office facility. We don't let them out into our building whatsoever, and I think that eliminates that problem. I still don't think we're not a friendly place. Just my 2 cents from that end.
I think just clarifying, knowing that this incident happened, clarifying that, where we could do a little bit better in terms of checking things out. But I agree, I think we have to be, by teaching respect and being friendly and just being strict in that is what we have to make our policy. We still are, the community owns us, we're part of the community, and we want them to feel welcome. We just need to let them know the boundaries of, we're welcoming, but we're also, our job is to keep our students safe. And I think we do a really good job here. I think our secretaries do a really good job of that. I just think that it was a good reminder to us of what we do need to, that things can happen and slip through, and just kind of remind us how we need to do it.
Okay, that's all I have for security from my end. Part of what I've been trying to do each meeting is highlighting some of the real positive things, and Mr. Buzzard's going to try to take credit for Randy coming in today, but doesn't count. There you try. This is Jason who brought it up.
That's my September report.
But we have real nice things happening in our business program. I've asked Mr. Hostetler to invite Tricia Misos, one of our teachers in the high school and middle school, and she's really done a tremendous job with our business program, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Hostetler.
Thanks. A little over a year ago, Tricia Misos approached me. It was about Christmas time, and she asked if we could open up a little coffee shop in the morning to raise money for some needy families in the area. I thought it was a good idea that fit in with her business 101. I've seen tons of our kids coming in with Dunkin' cups every day, so thought we'd give it a try. Little did I know they raised over, I think it was over $500 that Christmas, and it was like a 2-week span or something. It was just something crazy. So towards the end of last year, she came to me with an idea. Hey, let's expand this. Let's make this better. Let's really teach kids a real world type of idea. And I said, you know what? I've heard of a few schools that tried it, and she really went above and beyond. I've taken people back to the Clipper Cafe to see it. And I don't want to steal their thunder, but some of the amazing things that I see as a principal, when you really look at the classroom and you go in there, you see student collaboration, you see student problem solving. It's everything that we talk about when we say engagement. You get that when you walk in that room. The teacher is off to the side. She's there as a resource. The kids are in there collaborating, and it's something really wonderful. And this has led to other possible expansions as well. Right now, we're in the process of talking with Eastern Gateway College about expanding our dual credit offerings, classes like Business 101, computer applications. These classes will give our kids a chance to earn college credit while in the hallways of Columbiana and focusing in on business. We're also looking at classes like mobile app design and video game design to bring more real-world thinking, problem solving to our students. So today we have Allie Rohr, Noah Dane, along with Mrs. Misos. They're here to talk about their experience at the Clipper Cafe.
I did bring 2 of my students that volunteered to come today. They made me those movies, so I hope you enjoy them.
That's good.
I started the Introduction to Business class the 2nd semester, and I asked the kids to brainstorm ideas to come up with a business, and they were all very gung-ho about having the cafe back. So they brainstormed every idea. They made it what it is today. And they actually put the PowerPoint and everything together for you, so I'm going to let them take it away.
One moment. All right.
So like Ms. Miso said, the Clipper Cafe, she asked us within the first week, what kind of business do you guys want to run? And we really liked the idea last year of the coffee shop, and we wanted to expand it. Well, I think it took us about 2 or 3 days to decide what do we want, and are we going to have a charging station, because kids are always asking to charge phones to be able to get a hold of parents for after school activities if they forget it. And then we wanted to say, well, what about drinks? Can we bring drinks in? So we came up with the Clipper Cafe. But then 2 weeks, I think it was, we had couches that were so kindly donated by Mrs. Misos. So we had those in there for students to come sit down. That's the coffee line on the back counter with the coffee, the tea, the lemonade, the smoothie center. Once we had the idea of the cafe, our next steps were, well, what we're going to sell, how we're going to be able to make a profit off of this, and how are we going to attract enough business. Our learning targets that she talked to us over and over again to make sure we had ensured were communication skills, marketing strategies, and the operational costs. After everything was settled, I think there's 8 students in the class. We all broke into 4 departments: technology, finance, marketing, and advertising.
First is technology. I'm the head of it. We opened up Twitter so we could better connect with students because, as you know, a lot of people are involved with Twitter pages and whatnot. So we liked a lot of their pages and they liked ours back. So we were able to connect to them and let them see what our weekly specials were without actually coming into the cafe yet. We also opened up a website. Though it's low revenue, it also simulates a lot of business experiences. As you see in today's growing markets, a lot of businesses will have websites for their companies. Are we going to show them the website? All right. I put this together in about 4 weeks, somewhere in there. And it basically shows the specials, a brief introduction to what the business class in the Clipper Cafe is all about. Twitter links. We're hoping to sell merchandise off of this, not sure yet. But we have an interactive survey which students can answer questions to regarding the cafe. And we also have Meet the Team, which has the entire class roster on it to give everyone full credit. So yeah, we like to expand in that way. So I created that website, and it's been a helpful tool for getting out into the internet even more. Like I said, we have the ongoing survey, and we also researched cost-effective ways to accept credit and debit cards. And we came to the conclusion that PayPal has this really cool app that's really helpful for the iPad, where you plug in a card reader that you can buy from them. And it was the cheapest way possible, where they only have like a really small fine for using this application. And basically it lets students who don't have money on them, but they do have a card, they can use that instead. And I don't know, to me that seems to make it feel more like a shop than, a bunch of students in a classroom.
It's very beneficial. I actually use my card all the time when I want to get something, so it's easier not to have cash. Finance department, they place orders twice a week. They are in charge of the weekly sales, they make the deposits, the requisitions. Basically, they need to make sure that we have enough inventory to last through the week. I don't know much more about finance. The marketing, that was my department. Before the cafe started, we wanted to see, what did the students want? Did they want smoothies? Did they want milkshakes? What would attract them? So we had a survey beforehand given out to the students, and we calculated, I think, 150 students what they wanted. We're also in charge of new ways to attract people. 2 or 3 weeks ago, we got the approval to have a TV in there. And that actually attracted a lot of people who had study halls who, could watch the weather, watch Good Morning America, and I think the NCAA was this past week. They could watch that on their study halls as they were studious. They're studying too! The marketing is also in charge of the weekly specials and coming up with it, what's next week's big thing. This week, or last week, our biggest thing was the Oreo milkshakes, and we were thinking, well, what are they going to want next week? And then we were like, well, let's take a step away from ice cream because it's a lot of cost, and we came up with the coolers this week, which have been really popular as well.
Advertising was in charge of actually running the Twitter once it was created, or creating posters. I know someone painted a logo for the cafe, and we have that in the room. So that was basically reaching out, posting flyers, and letting people know about the cafe and what's going on in it. So, yeah. And how the cafe is being used. I don't know if you want to take this, or?
Oh yeah, it's just an overview of, students are in there to utilize their time wisely, to study, work with others. It gives more of a relaxed atmosphere because a lot of the seniors who are taking AP classes, second period is the one period that all of them come in and relax and study, and they're just able to take like a breath and not feel so stressed out. And just recently, the middle school teachers are starting to let their students come up for good behavior, so that helps us with the results. That's just a couple pictures of the students working together and playing chess on our downtime. These are some of the products. We started off with the iced coffee, the lemonade, the hot coffee, the strawberry banana smoothies, and the hot chocolate. Some of our weekly specials that we have very popular were the shamrock shakes, the jamocha frappes, our coladas, the mocha cappuccino, and the milkshakes. There's more pictures of the students actually working together. I think I had a picture of the line. Like we had lines in the middle picture. There was lines out the door of how popular the cafe has been.
Our profits weekly have been really high. I don't know, do do we have the iPad or something?
Yeah, we made over $2,000 in 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Seven. I don't know where the money's coming from.
I can understand when my daughter every morning kept on saying, "Give me some money, Dad." Coffee. I said, "How much is coffee?" and now I know.
You're sending them to college.
Holy smokes. We're getting them ready.
One of the benefits of this class, and our hard work pays off because we get to go to Cedar Point, I think May 22nd it is, and we get to go to this thing called Amusement Park 101, and basically they are helping you, they're teaching you how to run a business, and so we get to be a part of that. One of the goals for the cafe was we wanted to have a business scholarship, and hopefully that a senior who's going to be majoring in business next year could apply for and get. But it depends on how well the rest of the year turns out with the cost of Cedar Point and the bus and everything. But that's our goal in the end. Mrs. Prindle's class is actually able to be a part of this as well. I know second period, as you can see, Mrs. Hum and Adam are sitting in there. They come in and they clean tables, they count money with us, they help us take inventory, do many other things. Work studies also offered for students in and out of the business class.
And not only this, but I'd like to point out that it really helps Miss Brindle's class, socialize more, and it really gets them interactive with a real-world situation alongside us. So it helps bring a reality to that, and they seem to really enjoy it. So I don't know. I figure I should make a note of that.
Overall, this has been a really great experience for us. I've learned many things like the communication skills. Like if someone's having a really bad day and they come in, you have to be nice to those people, even if they're not so nice to you. That's what we learned, and you have to learn management and inventory, and
I don't know. I just realized it's been a huge reality check for me, and I'm a huge technologically integrated person. So making this website and working on advertising and calculating profits and all of that, I don't know, that's been really fun for me, even though it's a lot of hard work. So overall, it pays off a lot.
it's definitely worth it.
So yeah, that's the end of the presentation.
That's a lot. That's a big lot.
Holy smokes. I'll just say from, meeting with Mr. Hostetler and Mrs. Mesos, that we see a big advantage of getting our kids, regardless of what they're going in the next step after high school, to getting involved in some of these types of programs. So, I'm not going to steal Mr. Hostetler's thunder, but she wanted to mention a couple of things of his partnership with some higher ed opportunities.
Well, as we discussed earlier, we're looking at partnering with Eastern Gateway. This seems to blend in really well. Tricia Mesos is looking at teaching Business 101 and computer applications. That'll be a dual credit. The kids will be able to earn college credits that they can transfer to any state school. And as I said before, we're looking also into mobile app design and video game design. I think as you saw from the presentation, the kids are into this class. I mean, and I've seen kids that, let's say, weren't so into the traditional school day, come in there and just light up and dive in with their colleagues, and it's been a real awakening for me as a principal to see what we can do as far in the classroom if we bring real world things into it. And you think about when they get to the high school, they already have a lot of these skills, and if we continue to concentrate on our core areas and also give them some real life experience, I think we can do a lot of good things.
And the mobile app design will have an opportunity to have an industry standard credential associated with it, or certificate. which is a really, really nice thing available to us. So there's a test involved in that to get your credentialing. But that was one of the things that was very attractive to that, and that's from Career Technical Education, and it's primarily online, and we are going to use that as a facilitated online course. So we'll have that teacher-led, teacher-instructed, although it's technically an online course. So some nice opportunities coming up. We're gearing this towards seniors first, juniors next, and then down the list. But certainly those seniors that we have in the years to follow find themselves with very few credits that they need to graduate. We want to give them an opportunity, and maybe our big goal is to potentially turn some internships in the form of a lab type scenario where we can go out into local business and partner with local business to do certain things. So if Magical Computing had a need for a kid to come on and work a couple periods during the day, they could do some work for that type of business. So those are our goals. Those are long range to transition. Short range goal is to get these partnerships in place with Eastern Gateway, CTE Learning, and ITT with another group they're working with to get some higher ed stuff out. That's it for Superintendent report. I just want to thank Alan, Noah, and Mrs. Misos for coming today and providing the treats for everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's great.
Item number 5, the nutrition aid report.
My report is the spotlight on our managers. A lot of people don't realize that my managers are like my everyday consultant. There's days that I don't have something or I need advice. I call them. But lately we've been really good about not calling, but I haven't been. My boss really instructs me to do a lot of webinars to keep up with the demands from the government, what we're allowed to sell, what we're not allowed to sell. And I got to give these credits to our managers because there is a lot involved. You may see Kim here or Rick or Kevin here, I'm sorry, but they're really the backbones of nutrition and us, so I just really got to say thank you to both of them. And I guess on my second page I have the Chinese, the global, take the Chinese global. That was really a big hit, and we will not be having one in May. We'll be having a cookout in May, so this is our last one tomorrow, and I don't even remember what we're having tomorrow. It's a Mexican. So it's been very interesting. We've had a lot of feedback on Take Nutrition Global, and I think we're going to keep it up next year. They're wanting different recipes from us managers as a group. So I've been trying to get my girls involved so we can have our name, Columbiana, picked whatever, and this is our recipe. But of course it has to meet all the guidelines, through the health police, as we call them nowadays. But, and on the back also, the scoop. We have this on the website as well every month. This was that lima bean salad. The little kids loved it. And it even had mushrooms in it. The high schooler kids were more, oh, mushrooms, we're not taking that, So I really feel that being that we're starting at the elementary school, letting them do the taste testing, and then once they come up to the middle school and the high school, they'll be like, wow, this is really good. They won't have that opportunity to, say, oh, well, we don't like this or we don't like that. And Mr. Clark was able to see a Wellness Wednesday as I was presenting it.
That was very good.
Thank you very much. Yes. We try. We really try. So, That's mine. Any questions?
Thanks. Number 6, principal's reports.
Okay, I'll start with Joshua Dixon Elementary, my board report, my newsletter, because I do a combination April-May newsletter and calendar are all in board share. And I'll start with curriculum and professional development. My staff, K3 is continuing to work with Gretchen Martin from Access. We have a meeting again on, I believe it's May 9th, and they're redesigning our current standards-based report card to align more with their new curriculum maps so that they can go to Progress Book. And then K3 will join 4-5 and our whole building will be on Progress Book. I attended the Title I Federal Program Conference where there was one theme across the board. All the sessions I attended, all the general sessions with the focus speakers, it was that students respond to inspiration, hope, and humor. They talked about how much power we as teachers have and how the language we use with students can change a child's life. And it was inspiring to say the least. I was motivated. I wanted to turn around and see my whole staff sitting there. I'm looking into seeing how much it would be to bring one of the motivational speakers in on opening day. He was just phenomenal. It would just last them so long. You know, teachers need that lift. They too need motivation. We're working on linkage. Our school setup and roster verification is complete. I'd like to thank Mr. Martin for my endless phone calls and all his help in talking me through some of the difficult steps on there. And the next step is staff linkage. My staff will be doing that the week we come back after Easter break. ET-PES, I believe we're all getting ready to start entering our second round of observation data entry in. I know I haven't done that yet, so are we getting ready to do that?
Because we're done.
My third grade students, and Mr. Martin can chime in if he'd like on the technology piece of it, but my third grade students participated in 3 days of park field testing. It was very interesting seeing the elements, seeing the layout, the formatting of it, what the kids are expected to do. We had kids using highlighters, magnifying glasses, readers to window read exactly what they're supposed to read, closing, opening, comparing and contrasting two stories, typing out paragraphs. It was phenomenal as far as infrastructure goes, and if any, I believe issues were very minimal with shutdowns. We even tried it on different devices to see how it would work, and I thought it was a huge success. Overall, I did.
Yeah, it went very well. Accessibility features that in the past with paper form assessments, you would have to request those alternative assessments for students. And with the electronic assessment, there are a lot of accessibility features that they just decided if they're going to make them available, they would make them available for all students. So you don't have to have necessarily a visual impairment to use a magnifying glass and to benefit from having a magnifying glass. And the students really guided themselves through the environment really, really well. I was extremely impressed with their ability to do that and their ability to focus for 3 days of intense testing. So it went very well.
That focus of intense testing was key. A couple of things I saw through there that I'm preparing to share with my staff and with Christina Beggs and Christy Evan, who are going to be my experts at parks since they field tested, is the perseverance. The grit, you know, we hear that word now, it's like rigor all the way across the board of not giving up. It's not going to be a multiple choice question. You know, some of the kids, they would type the paragraph and just go, you know what I mean, and we'd have to like go, come on, scooch up, keep on going, so that perseverance to continue a job and stay focused until it's complete is key. And both of the presentations tonight, I think, focused a lot on that. Having kids from start to finish. Yours worked 3 days. It had to be intense, just those cups alone. You know, you're in it for a minute and a half and you drop one of the cups, you have to start all over again. Because it wasn't that perfect when they first started, I'm sure. So that perseverance of them keep going on is key. It was deep. It was very deep. It was so blooms. It was beyond just straight recall memorization. So those are the messages we need to get to staff. Kindergarten registration and screening, we did screen last week 65 kindergarten students. Mahoney County ESC concluded third grade gifted testing today. We'll begin our diagnostic testing the first week in May. Fourth graders and fifth graders will be coming to visit Southside Middle School on May 19th. I put OAA testing dates there for you. Last board meeting I shared with you that Jump for Heart brought in $7,600. We finished out with our final deposit to the American Heart Association with $10,000. Our goal was $5,000. We had 100% participation. And I'll tell you why. The kids got the prizes immediately, and the prizes were these ducks. Every kid had a lanyard with ducks on it in school all day long. And to get the ninja duck, your parent had to donate, I think it was $10. We had 100% participation, $10,000. So that was pretty awesome. Our Barnes & Noble Family Night was very well attended. I'd like to thank Jessica Daly and Lauren Halberstadt for planning that. It was awesome. The area preschools are coming to visit kindergarten. Our compliance update, last board meeting I shared with you, we had our compliance update for our state preschool license. The state does not recognize safe schools, unfortunately, so Lauren Halberstadt and I had to complete trainings. We finished a couple of Sundays ago our CPR, first aid, bloodborne pathogens, EpiPen, and asthma inhaler training. We're working on child abuse and communicable disease. It will just supplement our safe schools. The father-daughter dance was well attended. I'm not sure Dixon is the venue for that. It was very, very crowded and very, very hot. Mike and Jason were there, and it was awesome. The girls absolutely loved it, but it was hot and packed. Our annual egg hunt for the spring parties will be this Thursday. Over 6,000 eggs have been filled by Mr. and Mrs. Clark. Not this Mr. and Mrs. Clark, Mr. and Mrs. Kevin Clark. So I'd like to thank them for organizing that and all their hard work. And I did mention that I put the April-May newsletters in board share. Spring Fling is Friday, May 16th. It will be the 16th annual Spring Fling. Thank you. That's my board report. There is a dunk tank, Mr. Buzzard. You chopped out of that last year.
Southside Middle School April Good News Report, kind of centering on our students this month. Honor Roll, our third 9 weeks honor roll concluded with 61 Southside Middle School students gaining honor roll status and 47 achieving the rank of distinguished. So, we make no bones about it. Our middle school is probably one of the more challenging around. Our curriculum is challenging to students, and we still had around 40% that made honor roll. And I think that's pretty impressive how hard our kids are working. Once again, Mrs. Brown over there, she'll attest, we push them. DI, we hosted the DI tournament on Saturday, April the 8th. The competition resulted in several Southside Middle School students and teams advancing. We're going to center more on those next month as they move on in competition. We'll be talking a little bit more about the individuals moving on. Moving from DI, Science Fair. We have YSU hosted a regional science fair. We sent students to compete following our school-wide judging of our own personal science fair. And advancing to the state championships are Emily Hitchcock, Morgan Brownlee, Chris Squire, and Richard Oldham. So good luck to the... Is Richard still here? Right there. Good job, Richard. And so good luck to Clippers in Columbus. They'll be heading to Columbus. Continuing on to English Festival, April 10th. We had 47 students who went to the English Festival, which is, once again, it's very impressive to attend this. You just can't choose to attend. You have books to read. You're tested to make sure you read all your books. It's a year-long activity. I know school down the road said a whopping 8. We had 47, so our kids, once again, are working very hard. We're pushing them, we're giving them this opportunity. I go to a county meeting and we talk about the English Festival, and once again, I'm sitting beside one principal. I had 8, and the school twice our size sent 10. So we're really impressed, and a great job at the English Festival. And they had a good time. We were very well represented and well behaved. Spring sports are in full swing with our track teams. Important year-end events, end of the year meets are coming up. The Columbiana County Championships are on May 2nd at Crestview. The Waldo Ward meet is held here in Columbiana on the 5th. And the ITCL Championships are on the 13th. That also is being held at Crestview. OAA testing. Our students will be taking our test from April 28th till May 5th. We're looking to do very well in our testing this year. As far as the park field tests, just want to point out that other schools term their park field tests as disasters. Ours went well because of this guy right here. He's been confident, Jason's been confident that technology-wise, even though you may not think it after tonight with what went on up here.
It's a vision issue, I couldn't see that.
But the reason that it went so well is Jason's been on top of what we need and his expertise. We've said it, I know we said in one meeting and everybody was sweating and squirming, and Jason said, "We're good. We got this." Most people didn't have any idea what they were talking about, and Jason's, he knew everything they were talking about and what we needed to do. So, kudos.
Thanks for saving my job.
Okay. Kudos to Mr. Martin. That ours, once again, the horror stories of there are some places, some rooms where 5-10 minutes into the test, they just quit. Nothing was working, everything was going down, and they just gave up. So our kids had a pretty good experience, and as we move into when it really counts next spring. Important dates coming up: May 5th, 6th, and 7th. Our 6th grade will be going to Camp Fitch, followed by May 9th and 10th, 8th grade going to New York. Trying not to repeat anything, but the 5th and 6th grade, we're looking forward to their visits on the 19th. Band concert the 21st, choir concert the 22nd, our annual talent show, which is a lot of fun, on the 23rd, and with our blizzard bags and other smart moves, we're out May 30th. We don't have to go into June, which is always a nice thing in the middle school. That's the middle school report.
Okay, high school report, and we do some other things other than drink smoothies and coffee. Student staff achievement. The Future Educators Association recently recognized some staff members who made an impact on their education. 11 current and former staff members were recognized. They included Andrew Schuler, Aaron Heasley, Stephanie Baylor, Jen Fry, Colleen McNeil, Greg Kibler, Phyllis Miller, Lisa Malcolmson, Shirley Farron, Jody Taylor, and Zach Hurdle. So I'd like to thank Tammy James. She does a wonderful job with the FEA class, and so we want to thank those guys. Professional development. Tricia Nord actually gave a mini professional development lesson using learning targets in the classroom at our last staff meeting. She did a wonderful job. I'm going to be attending the Ohio High School Athletic Association Town Hall meeting on April 28th to discuss the new competitive balance proposal by the OHSAA. Under former student news, Kayla Proya was recently recognized by the University of Akron for participating in their alternative spring break. Kayla volunteered for Habitat for Humanity, and as proud as I am of Kayla, I wanted to bring this to your attention because the University of Akron is doing a really neat thing. They send me monthly updates on how our students at Akron are doing, so I thought that was really a neat idea from Akron. Under activities, we're all set for prom next Saturday. National Honor Society, Robert Bragg, they're going to be volunteering at Robert Bragg School. They have their own prom May 3rd, and our kids are volunteering for that. They're also volunteering at Habitat for Humanity on May 4th. Student government, they have elections for class officers after spring break. And our freshman youth leaders of Interact attended a brunch this morning as a follow-up to their leadership conference in the fall. Students were presented their service projects, which was making blankets for residents at Parkside Nursing Home. They also received a senatorial citation from the senator for their community efforts. So we want to congratulate them. Under athletics, although it's been very hard to get games and meets in recently, I put an update and some upcoming games in board share as well.
Item number 7, public input. We have a public participation request from Sean Brothers. Sean.
It was just in reference to the security issues that you talked about earlier. You answered almost all the questions that I had. The only thing that I would say is that I wouldn't have a problem showing my driver's license if I wanted to gain entrance to the school. I don't think it's rude to ask that of people if it keeps our students safe. That's all I wanted to add.
I appreciate that. I do want to tell you that unfairly and maybe unduly our secretaries get beat up by their requests because they are the person right there. And people come in and verbally are unkind. And they have to find that balance between getting the information they need and trying to keep that friendly face at the desk. And it's difficult. Yeah, it's difficult.
Any other comments? Kelly?
No, but thank you.
Ray? Take us to item 9.
Consider approving the March 2014 financial reports.
Second that motion. Discussion? Call the roll.
Karen,
Yes?
Clark,
Yes.
Ronco,
Yes.
Whitmer.
Yes.
Item number 10. Motion passed. Item number 10.
Make a motion to consider accepting the resignation of Andrew Schuler, high school math teacher, effective June 2nd, 2014.
I second it.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Clark,
Yes.
Whitmer,
Yes.
Ronco,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 11.
I move to consider accepting the resignation of Bob Davis, part-time middle school custodian, effective April 16, 2014.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Whitmer,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Ronco,
Yes. Item passes. Number 12.
Consider accepting the resignation of Jason Baker, head varsity boys basketball coach, effective April 7th, 2014.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Karen,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Ronco,
Yes.
Whitmer.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 13.
Make a motion to consider approving employment of Barbara Miller as Dixon Elementary cook for the 2013-14 school year, $4.75 an hour per day, 186 days per year, prorated for the 2013-14 school year. Compensation for board approved rate effective March 12, 2014, pending verification of credentials.
I second it.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Clark,
Yes.
Whitmer,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Ronco,
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 14.
I move to consider approving employment of the following personnel for the 2013-14 school year as recommended by the superintendent, with compensation in accordance with board-approved schedules and retroactive to the first day of work, pending verification of all credentials, as listed below.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Whitmer,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Ronco,
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 50.
Consider approving the following personnel as volunteer for a pupil activity program for the 2013 through 14 school year as recommended by the superintendent as listed below.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Call roll.
Karen,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Ronco,
Yes.
Whitmer,
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 60.
Make a motion to consider approving employment of the following personnel on a supplemental contract for the 2013-14 school year, as recommended by the superintendent, with compensation in accordance with board-approved schedules, pending verification of credentials, as listed below.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Clark,
Yes.
Whitmer,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Ronco,
Yes. Motion passes. Item 70.
I move to consider approving the field biology class field trip May 11th through 12th, 2014, one school day, per the itinerary provided with this agenda.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Whitmer,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Ronco,
Yes. Motion passes. Item 18.
Consider first reading the following new policies, revisions, and replacements to the board policy as listed below with drug and alcohol testing for students. No action.
Item 19.
Make a motion to consider second reading and approval of the following new policies, revisions, and replacements to board policy, which received a first reading at the March 11th, 2014 board meeting, as listed below.
I second it.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Clark,
Yes.
Whitmer,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Ronco,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 20.
I move to consider approval of authorization to offer student accident insurance for the 2014-2015 school year through the Mills Insurance Agency.
I'll second. Go ahead.
The motion. Discussion? Call the roll.
Whitmer,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Ronco,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 21.
I'd like to consider a motion for the approval of 8th grade field trip to New York City, May 9th, 10th, 2014, one school day per the itinerary provided with this agenda.
I'll second it.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Hudson,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Ronco,
Yes.
Whitmer,
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 22.
Consider approval of the AP U.S. History Field Trip to New York City, May 15th through the 17th, 2014, one school day, per the itinerary provided with this agenda.
Second that motion.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Karen,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Ronco,
Yes.
Whitmer,
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 23. President's report.
No report.
There we go.
Item 24, OSBA Legislative Liaison Report.
No report.
Item 25, OSBA Student Achievement Liaison Report. I do have a report where we have 5 Columbiana High School students this year in the Heads Above the Rest brunch. They will be attending on May 1st. These are students who scored a 30 or higher on their ACT, which 5 is a pretty nice number. We actually tied with Salem with the highest number of students this year. So congratulations go out to Clayton Cooper, Dylan Edwards, Carly Merlot, Dylan Randolph, and Alexis Schnarrenberg.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Great.
That's amazing.
Item 26, Columbiana Career Center Board Member Report.
Career Center did have a board meeting tonight. I had to attend that first. We had contract approvals tonight that were rather important, so that is why I'm a little bit late this evening. That's the end of the report. That's right.
Item number 27, date of the next board meeting, Tuesday, May 13th, 6:30 in the high school media center. Item 28.
Make a motion to consider an executive session in accordance with ORC 121.22 for the sole purpose of consideration of any of the following matters: employment, discipline.
Discussion? Call the roll.
I second it.
Yeah.
To read off.
Specialized details of security arrangements or disclose, where disclosure of the matters discussed might reveal information that could be used for the purpose of committing or avoiding prosecution for a violation of law.
Now I second.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Clark.
Yes.
Whitmer.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Bonner.
Yes. Motion passes.
What happened? I get another package? Thank you.
You just have an extra one.
Oh, this is Tony.
Yeah, okay. I'll take Tony's too. You get stuff to sign? You can ask about it.
Okay, thanks, boss. Bye-bye.
What was your question?
You're like, I don't know.
Good job, Kim.
They won't be taking any action afterwards.
I did think of it, yeah. Because I'll have them link, I will have them bring it up. And I'm sorry, I know you're jury, but, you know,
Nancy does that, I'm not sure. Usually she does.
Thank you so very much.
I think it was later in the day, I don't know. Okay, all right.
I take her out. I can chew your eardrum.
That last was like, Scott just told me that he's
Thank you.
Kim said mentally he's already
Last year was how we wanted to do one, or do you just want to do it like we did last year? Cook inside and have everything decorated. Because I'm going to do that. Oh, yeah.